എന്തേ എവിടെ പോയി? വണ്ടി വണ്ടിയിലാണ് പോയാ? മമ്മി എന്തേ പോയാ? ആപ്പിളൂടെ പോയാ? നമുക്ക് പോവാ, വണ്ടിയിലിപ്പോ പോവാ. കളിക്കാം നമുക്ക്. വണ്ടി ഓടിച്ച് കളിക്കാം. സൈക്കിളിൽ പോയാലാ? കടല ബാക്കി പോയാലാ? ബാക്കി പോവാ, ബാക്കി പോവാട്ടാ. Good morning, students. How are you? Hope you are all doing well. You might have seen that I was playing with the kids, right? Yes. The moment with the kids made me much more happier than before. And most of the people like to spend time with the kids, right? Yes. Do you know how the baby is formed? The baby is formed through a process, right? So, today we are discussing about that process. That process name is fertilization, okay? So, what is fertilization? In a simple word, we can say that fusion of male and female gametes, that is fusion of male and female gametes to form a zygote is called fertilization. Now I am telling that what happens if fertilization occurs. We can go through a chart, then you will understand what happens, okay? So, here is the chart, that is if fertilization occurs. So, this is the half part of the female reproductive system. Okay. So, here we can see the ovary, the fallopian tube, the uterus, etc. Okay. So, the ovary is producing the ovum. During that period is called ovulation. Producing the ovum, and at that time the sperm will enter through here, through this fallopian tube and fused. Okay, here fused with the female. So it is formed. So the process formed, that is main process, that is fertilization, and fertilized to form the single zygote. Then zygote undergo division and form 2-celled stage, then 4-celled stage and 8-celled stage. This division is commonly called cleavage. Okay. From the 8-cell stage, it again divided into 16-cell stage, then again divided into 32-cell stage, etc. Okay. So on that stage, it is called blastocyst. Okay. Then at the uterus section, that is in the place of the uterus, the blastocyst will implant, and in here, that is in uterus, it is developing into form the baby. Okay. So we can go through if fertilization occurs in detail. Okay. The first point, the ovum released from the ovary reaches the oviduct. There it fuses with sperm and forms. The process is called fertilization. Okay. Though many sperms reach the oviduct, only one sperm fuses with the ovum. The single-celled zygote undergoes division to become a multicellular embryo. And the last point, embryo develops by attaching itself to the endometrium. What is endometrium? The inner layer of uterus. So, this is the overview if fertilization occurs. Then, do you know that what will happen if fertilization fails? We can go through a model. Through that model, you will understand what will happen if fertilization fails. Okay? So, we can go through the model. Here is the female reproductive system. What all things we can see through this model? We can see the 2 fallopian tubes, the ovary, the uterus wall, and the cervix canal and vagina. So these are the sections we can go through. We can see through this model. Okay. So what will happen if fertilization fails? If fertilization fails, so every month the uterus is waiting for the cell. That is we can see that this fertilization. If fertilization occurs, the cell move to the uterine wall. So in order the cell didn't come to this uterus, the uterus is already prepared for thickened walls and more blood capillaries and highly nutritious. We know that this wall is highly nutritious, and we can see a thick paper is, I pasted thick paper to understand more about that is uterine wall. Okay. So what will happen if fertilization fails? If fertilization fails, this endometrium wall, thickened wall will destroy and it peel off from this uterus wall. We can check. Okay. This uterus wall, from the uterus wall, endometrium thickened is peeling off. Okay. From the wall. Okay. And these along with the blood and mucus, these waste, that is blood, is go through this cervical canal, and through this it will enter to the vagina, and this process is called menstruation, and you all know about it. Okay, so every month, moreover 7 days, I think, 7 days menstruation cycle will occur, and if fertilization occurs, there is no menstruation cycle. Okay, so I hope you understand about what happens if fertilization fails and what will happen if fertilization occurs. Here you can see, this is the female reproductive system. Here you can see only half part of the female reproductive system. This is half part only. I shown this through the chart. Okay. Then what happens if fertilization fails? Along with ovulation, the preparations for the growth of fetus takes place in the uterus every month. Endometrium, the inner layer of uterus, thickens and more blood capillaries and glands begin to develop. But when fertilization does not take place, all these preparations become futile. The newly formed tissues get destroyed and they peel off from the uterine wall. This section I just told you through the demonstration, that is through the model of the female reproductive system, right? Okay. These tissues get eliminated through the vagina along with blood and mucus. This process is called menstruation. It may last 3 to 7 days. Okay? So, here is the question for homework. You can go through the questions. First question, what do you mean by the term fertilization? And the second question, what happens when fertilization fails? Last question, what happens when fertilization occurs? So you have to complete these 3 questions in the next class. Okay? Hope you get an overall idea about what is fertilization and what happens if fertilization occurs and what happens if fertilization fails. Okay? I'm concluding my class. Hope you all understand. Okay, bye. Thank you.